Tip 35. Don't die.
This is P and I'm J, and this is your best day. In this series, we'll be taking you day by day through the food, drinks, parties, and ports of Virgin Voyages' inaugural cruise from New Zealand to Australia. Day 10 on Virgin's adult-only cruise aboard the Valiant Lady. And we're waking up in Sydney, Australia. We hear you yelling, "Show me your tips!" Well, we've got 35 hot ones, doing all the research so you don't have to. Grab your pen, your paper, and get ready for brutal honesty. Have you ever gone to bed, then woken up somewhere completely different? Tip number 1, don't be homeless. You'll need to understand docking versus tender. To dock is when the ship is next to land and you can walk straight off into port. A tender is when the ship will anchor in a bay close to the port and you're going to be transferred to land via a small vessel. Know the times when your ship tenders. Last night, anyone who didn't make it back by 3 a.m. is homeless until 6 a.m. Tip number 2, enjoy sunrise and plan for sunsets. A Sydney sunrise should be on everyone's bucket list. Similarly, you can optimize your sunsets. Remember, Australia and New Zealand are in the southern hemisphere, so their summer is our North American winter. The sun doesn't set until late, about 8:30 or 9. Take advantage snagging an ocean view table for dinner. Dinner. Where's breakfast? Room service. We've got ShipEats. Eggs, bacon, potatoes, tomatoes, garlic, chives, fresh fruit. We've got strawberry, melon, pineapple, granola, more bacon.
Yes!
Tomato, potatoes, hot coffee, and a Red Bull? Tip number 3, waive the ShipEats delivery charge. Delivery is free of charge for ROCKSTAR sailors. However, $7 otherwise, but waived if you order a specialty coffee, juice, alcohol, or other chargeable item.
Really
You're
gorgeous
welcome.
house. That way, especially. Look at the view. Yeah, look at the view over there. It's just really gorgeous.
Speaking of food, tip number 4, bringing snacks to excursions. You might think nothing of grabbing a snack from the galley to eat while you're off the ship, but most ports won't allow this. Fruit, vegetables, meat, cheese, nuts, seeds, even baked goods can present a biohazard. Opt for pre-packaged food like chips or granola bars, or risk facing huge fines. Tip number 5, choose carefully, starboard or port side. While docked in Sydney, our starboard side room looked west into the city skyline, the passenger terminal, and the harbour bridge. We had views of New Zealand's coast as we traveled south from Auckland to Wellington, and countless sunsets. However, docked at Sydney, port side viewed the famous Opera House. Maybe compromise with an aft view? Tip 6, decide on the right cabin floor. The ship's rolling and pitching increases the higher up you go. The ship is rocking. This is important if you're prone to motion sickness.
Leaning like a palm tree.
If it's your first cruise or you are especially in tune with that motion, consider booking a cabin on a lower deck in the middle of the ship where there's less movement. Though disembarking often starts from the top floor, so it might mean you wait a bit longer to get to land. From the ship to the boat, we're en route to Sydney. Speaking of getting here, tip number 7, don't get rejected. Check your passport expiry. Your passport must be valid for a minimum of 6 months from the date of departure. The same goes if you don't have the required visas. Which brings us to tip number 8. get your visa early. Most European passport holders will need to obtain a free e-visitor visa, while visitors from the US and Canada will need an Electronic Travel Authority (ETA), both of which can be applied for online. The e-visa allows for stays of up to 3 months at a time within a 12-month period. Complete your application well in advance. Virgin checked for it on embarkation day when we were still in New Zealand. We've arrived! Feeling fine? Tip number 9. Subscribe. Your support, subscribe, like, comment, share mean the world to us. I'm talking complete happy dance, full celebration, picking up our cats and twirling them overhead.
No animals were harmed in the making of this film.
He called an Uber, 23 Australian dollars, and 14 minutes later, we were en route to Bondi Beach. Tip number 10, don't get in an accident. If you're considering renting a car, remember, driving is on the left in both Australia and New Zealand. Roads are generally well signed and in excellent condition. We're self-guided today, but if you prefer tours, tip number 11, book tours ahead of time. They go quickly. We had our eyes on a glowworm cave tour. However, that one didn't work out for us and sold out. Tip number 12, be open-minded. The crew is encouraged to be themselves. Wild hair colors, tattoos, even some occasionally colorful language. It feels more like friends and family rather than service with servants. Ooh, cringe. Lucky 13. Don't go overboard with packing. Unlike air travel, you can bring as much luggage as you like. However, cabins have limited space, so best to eliminate the clutter.
What do you think of Bondi?
Pretty cool.
Yeah? Pretty Bondi for a
Beach.
If you're flying onto another destination, you'll be limited by the airline baggage allowances anyway. Of next destinations, it's time for our coastal walk. Tip number 14, prepare medical supplies. Band-aids, you want them. Cold and flu meds, want them. Imodium or Pepto, definitely want them. These are in short supply on board and are also very expensive. Make sure you have enough of any medication you take regularly, as it may not be available. The Icebergs Bar, the only licensed swimming club in the world. A rich history and some very famous club alumni. Perched on the southern cliffs of the iconic Bondi Beach. Eat, drink, swim, and be merry. Tip number 15, ace the first hours of your trip. Pack a carry-on. You'll usually end up in your cabin long before your luggage does. Make sure you have your medication, your phone chargers, important documents, all in that carry-on. Also worth having that bathing suit so you can get straight into your holiday. Heading south with tip number 16. Don't stress formal nights. Virgin's dress code is relaxed. Wear what makes you feel good. But if dressing up is your thing, pack accordingly for the parties. Something nice for sail away, pajamas for the PJ party, neon and shoulder pads for the 80s party, and red for Scarlet Night. We've been busy doling out tips, but it's important to emphasize how gorgeous this part of the world is. Sparkling coastlines, beautiful people, and views in every direction. Well worthy of a much longer stay. Tip 17. Stand the test of time. Literally, bring appropriate footwear. Poolside can get slippery. For excursions, something you can tolerate all day. My biggest dilemma? Whether to pack high heels. I'm glad I didn't. I'd have totally died with those waves. But if you've got sturdy legs and a strong core, power to ya. Our last coastal stop in our casual 90-minute walk, beautiful Bronte Beach. We linger a moment until he calls an Uber and we head on down to the Sydney Fish Market. 47 Australian dollars and 21 minutes later, we arrived.
Wow!
Massive market, seafood, deli, wine, baked goods, souvenirs, and restaurants. Sydney Fish Market, it's a celebration of seafood. Tip number 18, let staff know if you're celebrating. It's no guarantee, but mention your special event and you may receive some bubbly, fresh fruit in your cabin or an extra special dessert at dinner. After After all, happy customers are a great advertisement for cruise lines. Tip 19. Check your bill. Unfortunately, errors happen and you don't want to pay for someone else's drinks. Check your bill daily. Have any mistakes reversed right away. Because after the fact, after leaving the ship, it can be challenging. Also, Virgin charges in US dollars. If wondering what currency to pay in, always choose the option that the ship uses. Welcome to Darling Harbour, one of Sydney's most popular tourist destinations, next to the central business district and home to many attractions, nightlife, romantic atmosphere, and shopping. Tip number 20. Shopping on board is expensive. When browsing the boutiques on board the ship, you might be enticed to spend with offers of discounts, super sales, and duty-free prices. However, be wary. Savings can be little, especially if you're an Australian paying for purchases in US dollars. Ouch! Rumor alert! If you're determined to get that must-have item, wait until the last day of the cruise, as there can be a big sale.
Wow.
This gives you time to think about it, but always check the hours because they can be limited. Tip 21. Time the spa. Be aware that spa treatments usually cost at least 50% more on the ship than they do in Australia. If you're keen on going, consider a port day, $20 less and generally less busy. Or consider a splash of romance, Virgin's Romance Package. It gives access to the thermal spa, priority boarding, an exclusive sail away hour, daily juice, champagne, and aphrodisiac bites. Whatever that means. Harajuku Chiaotza Beer Stadium, a celebration of Japanese culture. Feast on dumplings, then wash them down with craft beer brewed on site. Tip number 22. Drink and be merry. Sailors can bring 2 750 milliliter bottles of wine per cabin in carry-on bags only. No liquor and no beer. Any alcohol in your checked luggage risks being confiscated. You're also welcome to buy specialty liquors from a port of call, though they will be handed over to security and held until you disembark.
It's a nice place. It's really cool at the place.
Tip 23. Gamble responsibly and win. Cruise ships have a captive audience, so it's easy to lose your shirt. However, if poker's your game, this may be the place to clean up. On a cruise ship, you'll often find people playing poker for the first time. If you're an experienced player, it could be lucrative for you. Bingo is another game of choice on cruise ships. Bit of fun, and sometimes a bit of cash too. 24. Watch the clock. Don't run late from shore excursions. The time to get back on ship is non-negotiable. Be back at your all-aboard time, not when the ship is scheduled to leave. And definitely not after that. The time zone of the port may be different from the time zone you've been in. It's the ship's clock you need to go by. Tip 25. Feel great. Bring motion sickness medication. The Tasman Sea between New Zealand and Australia is known to be one of the roughest in the world. Be prepared for some swells and a whole lot of rock and roll. Tip number 26. Get to know the crew. A thank you, a smile, and genuine interest goes a long way. You never know, they might just be able to make some magic happen. Little did we know, there's a big surprise waiting for us in our room. Not a chocolate-covered banana popsicle, although that is pretty amazing. It's tickets to a secret onboard magic show. An absolutely gorgeous sail away. Sydney and these two beautiful humans. It's Ryan and Nick, our big-time winner from the slots tournament. Tip 28. Choose your travel companions wisely. Be picky about who you travel with. Your time is short, so make the most of it. That means traveling alongside those who approve your planned activities, have similar expectations, or common goals for your time. Bonus tip, Gumbay has shared seating. Find your gumbabes to enjoy the experience with.
Yes!
We descend from the athletic club on deck 16 down to On the Rocks on deck 6.
Beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as before.
Tip number 29. Complete the daily surveys. You're having a good time, you've made good choices, you've followed these tips, but also because of the fabulous crew. The crew works hard, often 7 days a week for months at a time. Show your appreciation by noting them by name in the daily app surveys. Tip 30. Your secret to success. Planning. This is a big one, so grab your pen and paper. As soon as you book your cruise, download the app. Begin the check-in process. Scroll past the passport and security bit and choose your boarding time. If you have Splash of Romance or are a rock star or have Deep Blue extras, you'll get priority boarding. Sailors can book shore excursions at least 120 days prior to their voyage start, and those booked in the ROCKSTAR quarters will get early access to book within 135 days. 45 to 60 days out, you'll be able to book your dining. ROCKSTAR is booking 60 days out, all other cabins at 45. The Wake Brunch on sea days is pretty popular, so consider snagging that early. Gumbe, Pink Agave, Extra Virgin, and the Wake dinners are evenly split. So long as you're booking when your window opens, you should have some options. Razzle Dazzle and Test Kitchen are perhaps a lower priority and seem to often have availability. Test Kitchen is a 2 to 3 hour experience, so plan accordingly. As soon as you're on board or on the ship's Wi-Fi, more dining times open, along with all other bookable activities, entertainment, and fitness classes. Phew! I told you that was a lot. We've been jumping through hoops, collecting as many insights as possible, and we're nowhere near done. Quick check-in. Are there any we missed? Any surprises? Comment below. We head to the dock for sunset. Tip 31. Give yourself time. Don't schedule your arrival and departure too close. If your flight is delayed, you may end up missing the ship. This nearly happened to us earlier. Stay locally the night before your cruise. Don't book any flights, tours, or connections immediately after disembarking. There can be huge delays, weather, immigration. Give yourself a long window to avoid problems. Tip 32. Mind the thin walls. If your neighbors aren't as considerate, you'll be glad you brought a fan to create some white noise. Earbuds, headphones, noise cancellation, all recommended. Tip 33. Read the fine print. Understand what travel documents you need, visas, any cancellation fees. Being denied boarding is embarrassing, so understand requirements, even denial due to medical reasons or pregnancy.
Sunset is gorgeous.
Tip 34. Isolate incidents. While we hope every day is your best day, some things are unavoidable. Don't let one bad minute ruin the next hour, day, or even the whole trip. In attending the magic show, we totally missed our Extra Virgin reservation. At least there's always ShipEats.
Yes!
We head into the app and begin our order. Okay, unofficial tip. ShipEats doesn't deliver everywhere. We tried. We'll order when we get back to the room. Little gem salad, blue cheese, bacon, roasted garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Ragu pappardelle, rich meat sauce, and a whole lot of Parmesan. Which is what I'd had my eye on at Extra Virgin. Good to know you won't miss out by staying in with room service. Grilled New York strip, and some ooey gooey potatoes.
Oh, yes.
Red velvet cookie cake with cream cheese frosting. And a blueberry green tea cheesecake. Tip 35. Don't die. Let the cruise line know if you've got any dietary requirements. Interestingly, this is literally the first thing we were asked by each server immediately after being seated in the restaurant. Safety first. If you had fun, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and follow along on our next adventure. Come on, what are you waiting for?